I'm not Mr. Mellow. I'm your other Mellow. Ooh, welcome to Oh the Humanities and happy Halloween. I'm your host, Mr. Mellow, and today I'm going to tell you about a good book that you should read. So I'm going to try and start making a new kind of video. I'm still going to be doing lessons, and I have some more ambitious projects in the works. We're going to add some new content to the channel where I just want to talk about books that I read and review them, and not go super in depth, but just give you my thoughts and let you know if you should read it and let you know what I liked about them. A lot of the other stuff I'm working on takes just like a long time to make, and also being a teacher is like a busy job, so I don't have like a ton of time. So I figured these videos where I can just kind of get my thoughts out there, I'll be able to release them a lot faster than I've been able to. Since it's the Halloween season, I'm going to tell you about a real scary horror book. And when I say that, I mean a horror book for children, because everybody who knows me knows that I'm kind of a scared horror baby. So we're gonna read Coraline. Now, Coraline is by Neil Gaiman, who is probably my favorite author. And while this isn't my favorite book by him, I will say it's a pretty awesome book. And even though I finally just read it for the first time this year to get in the mood for the Halloween season, I have a kind of a long history with the book Coraline, because I saw the movie when it came out, which I bet many of you have. And it's kind of a funny story, because when I went to see, a bunch of the older kids in high school took me, and we were going to see a movie called Watchmen, which is based on an excellent graphic novel. I would find out later that the Watchmen movie was not very good, but you see, I was not allowed in because I was not 18 yet, or not 17 yet, and I couldn't go see it because it was rated R. So instead, I ditched my friends and I went to go see the movie Coraline, which turns out was a way better movie, because Coraline the movie actually is awesome. Because I'd seen the trailers and I was like, I love this cool stop motion animation. I've heard like Tim Burton's a producer. It's colorful and creepy and wacky and looks neat. I checked it out and it was great. But now I've finally read the book, and you know how it goes. Usually, the book is better. Though I will say, the Coraline movie does rule. Don't watch R-rated movies. Just watch cartoons. So, what is Coraline about anyway? Well, Coraline, not Caroline Jones, and her family have just moved in to this new house, and there are no other kids around. She has all these wacky, weird neighbors. Her parents are busy all the time, and she is just bored out of her mind. However, she's not bored for very long, because within the house there's a scary monster who wants to eat her eyeballs. For kids. So she has to save herself and her parents from a otherworldly, interdimensional beast called the Beldum. The Beldam. Can she do it? You'll have to read the book to find out. So why do I love this book so much? Well, first off, this book is genuinely creepy. I know I said I'm a kind of a baby when it comes to horror, but I did find this genuinely creepy. Even though I knew a lot of what was going to happen in advance, because of the movie, there was this creeping suspense, and just in the description, you really get this tense atmosphere that Neil Gaiman is just so good at doing. I mean, on one hand, there's this creepy monster that wants to eat your eyeballs, but it's not as simple as being chased by the evil monster. It's you walk through this other world, and the way that the monster tries to get you to relinquish your eyeballs is by pretending to be your mother. Like, not, but a version of your mother that is better in some way and gives you everything you want and feeds you tasty foods and lets you do all the things that your real parents won't let you do. And but at the same time, it's like all you have to do to get all of these things you've ever wanted is give me your eyes. Like, if I were to give you any kind of tip for how to write based on what you can learn from Coraline, is it's all in that character development and not giving just like an exhaustive description and backstory. Like, I don't know the entire lives and inner worlds of every character in this book, but I have these simple little details that I can latch onto, and Coraline herself is a great example in that. One thing I noticed they kept coming back to was Coraline is a picky eater. She doesn't want to eat all these fancy foods that her father's trying to make. She just wants to slap a pizza in the microwave and then just eat like a simple plain thing, which is such a relatable like kid kind of thing to do too. Being a picky eater, I related to that because I used to be a really picky eater as a kid. But then the way those character details actually tie into the story, because then once her parents get abducted by this monster, she is starving. She has no one to feed her anymore. She doesn't have access to food, and she learns to be grateful for that thing. She learns not to be such a picky eater anymore. And obviously that's not like what the story's about. It's a minor part, but it's this detail that adds so much like personality and realism like to the character that makes them relatable. Coraline really captures the experience of like being a kid and being surrounded by these adults who kind of talk over you and you feel like they don't understand you and you just want to be understood or like talked to like an adult. You feel more mature than everyone around you is treating you. And everyone's talking to you like you're a little bit stupid, but you're not. Like, that's who Coraline is, and I love that about her character. So from the creepy mood to the characterization, those small little details, Neil Gaiman just develops this wonderful little story and this wonderful little world that Coraline inhabits. In fact, I mean, we could go and do a deep dive on the lore, but there are plenty of like super long YouTube videos just like exploring this. I'll probably put a screenshot right here of just like the exhaustive YouTube rabbit hole. Like, people love this book and exploring all those little details. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just kind of giving you my impressions, my basic review, and whether you should read it, which, yes, you should absolutely read Coraline, even if you've watched the movie. The movie does not have these illustrations, you know, for kids. Oh, and I can't allow myself to get through this review without talking about the best character, who is the cat. The cat is absolutely the best. And I love that this book just implies that not only are cats sentient and can talk, they just choose not to, but they're also just like interdimensional beings, like able to just like flow between universes, because of course they can. They're cats. Isn't that right, Franklin? So this is like a wonderful, magical little world. It is a pretty short read that you will just get lost in, and especially since it's the Halloween season right now, do yourself a treat and pick up a copy of Coraline. Thank you for watching Oh the Humanities. I'm Mr. Mello. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff, and I hope you have an awesome day. Goodbye. These are supposed to stay in place, but they won't stay on my eyes. They're too small. Okay, I'm going to do something ill-advised. I'm just stick these directly onto my eyeballs. What could go wrong, he said, right before going to the emergency room for button eyes.